On the broadcast tonight, Shippensburg University prepares to do the time warp once again.
And there's plenty to do this upcoming weekend in the community.
All of that and more right now on SUTV News. Thanks for joining us on SUTV News. I'm Carson Devitt.
And I'm Maddie Shively. Have you said something kind to yourself lately? National Love Your Body Day was in full bloom this week with a self-love event hosted by the Page Center. The Love Your Body Day festivities include a variety of self-care acts such as body positivity arts and crafts, creating daily affirmation jars to reflect on during the hard days, dancing and Zumba, healthy snacks and beverages, as well as free personal care items.
Love Your Body Day is just about loving your body, but your mental health, because mental health is such an important concept to talk about in college, because we all know everyone's stressed and doing so much. So we have different projects like these where people write affirmations. We put them on our tree and we'll hang up the tree so people can constantly read their affirmations. We did a mirror activity with the same thing. Put an affirmation, put a kind word to yourself, so when you look at yourself in the mirror, you're reminded of that every single day.
Students took the time to write down their mid-semester worries and then blew them away with free containers of bubbles as a way to clear their minds and begin with a fresh new start. For more information about self-love initiatives and events, you can visit the Page Center in room 232 of the Cub. Spring registration is quickly approaching, and if you're a student searching for more information on how to register for classes, the Registration Pop-Up Support Center has got you covered. The purpose of the Support Center is to help students get familiar with the registration process, make sure they've met with advisors, and assist with other student success strategies. Associate Vice President of Retention and Student Success, Jennifer Hoy, hopes that students will be fully prepared before registration begins and said, quote, "We're here for students to just ask us anything they need to help them be successful," end quote. Students will have 2 more opportunities to meet with the Support Center in the CDA Union building on both the 24th and 25th of October from 1 to 3.
It's that time of year again to break out your fishnet stockings as Shippensburg University shivers with anticipation for the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The beloved tradition is an interactive experience where audience members are provided goodie bags containing items to throw and wear during the performance. For the first time ever, all Rocky Horror Picture Show performers were cast as members of the opposite gender, which will surely transport you to the planet of Transylvania. The Rocky Horror Picture Show will take place in the Cub NPR on October 28th, 29th, and 31st, starting at 8 p.m. There's plenty to do in the community this weekend. This weekend, join the fun at the first annual Shippensburg Pumpkin Festival. Located at the Shippensburg Fairgrounds, there will be pumpkin carving, live music, vendors, and activities for kids. On Saturday, the 34th Annual Halloween Parade will also be making its way through downtown. Starting at 7 p.m. and taking place along King Street, the parade is hosted by the Shippensburg Kids Events Committee. On Sunday, the Cumberland Valley Rails to Trails Council is hosting their 15th Annual Trail Fest. Starting at 9 a.m. on the corner of Fort and Earl Street at the Shippensburg Station, there will be multiple events including a 5K and a 25-mile bike ride. So get out and enjoy the events while the weather is nice. When we come back in world news, the UK's latest Prime Minister has resigned.
And pressure towards FIFA leading up to the World Cup. We have more after the break.
What's going on around the world today?
SUTV's Haley Galaskis has the headlines.
It's a political earthquake in the United Kingdom. Prime Minister Liz Truss resigning, now set to become Britain's shortest-serving prime minister ever. The direction of America's closest ally, thrown into chaos as officials here in the U.S., including President Joe Biden, recently voiced unease over her vision for the UK. Mike Valerio has the latest.
To her growing list of critics, it was simply a matter of no trust in the Truss government. Just one day after British Prime Minister Liz Truss said she wasn't leaving 10 Downing Street.
Mr. Speaker, I am a fighter and not a quitter.
Truss resigned less than 2 months after the late Queen Elizabeth II asked her to form a government.
I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party.
She's now set to become the shortest-serving prime minister in British history. Her proposed tax cuts for the wealthy, as middle-class Britons face a bleak winter of economic hardship, sent the British pound into a tailspin. The government has since walked back its tax plan. Fellow Conservative members of Parliament are now looking to steady the ship.
We're not playing the role that we usually play on the international stage, with the world getting more dangerous, not less. It's been very, very difficult.
President Joe Biden saying he's not concerned about potential economic instability in the UK spilling over into the US, days after he publicly called Truss's trickle-down economic vision a mistake. Outside the White House this morning.
Look, she was a good partner on Russia and Ukraine, and the British are going to solve their problems, but she was a good partner.
As for what's next, Britain's Conservative Party says it will have a new party leader and therefore the next prime minister ready by next Friday. But the opposition Labour Party is calling foul and wants an early, nationwide general election. I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
Inca, Zach, and Crispin. These are the names of the critically endangered Sumatran tiger cubs born in June. The newly announced names have been chosen by Zoological Society of London supporters who won the chance to name them at a charity auction last month. One of the tiger keepers looking after the trio says the names are great for the feisty cubs, now 4 months old. In a new interview with Variety, Meghan Markle opened up about the loss of Britain's Queen Elizabeth II and the standard that she set for the world. CNN's Max Foster tells us more about what she said in this interview.
A wide-ranging, quite soft interview from the Duchess of Sussex, which was recorded before the Queen died, then updated after the Queen died. So she talks a bit about her love of cooking, how she shares an office with Prince Harry, but she also pays tribute to the Queen, particularly remembering her first engagement with the Queen up to Cheshire in northern England in 2018. She says, "I've reflected on that first official engagement that I had with the Queen, how special that felt. I feel fortunate and I continue to be proud to have had a nice warmth with the matriarch of the family." And I think that's certainly true when you remember those images from back in 2018. Meghan also confirmed in the interview that she is working with Netflix on a docu-series with Harry as well, where they'll tell their story. So people are very keen to find out what the couple have to say about other members of the royal family. No detail as yet on what's in the docu-series or when it will be released. Separately, the royal family here in the UK apparently quite concerned about Netflix in relation to the new series of The Crown. We understand there is a scene where Prince Charles is seen going to the former Prime Minister, John Major, lobbying him to press the Queen to abdicate so Prince Charles could take over as monarch. John Major says that is utter nonsense and it certainly hasn't been proven in any way with historical data that we've looked at. Judi Dench, who is quite close to the Queen Consort Camilla, has also hit out at Netflix and The Crown, saying that it is nonsense, effectively, saying the closer the drama comes to our present times, the more freely it seems willing to blur the lines between historical accuracy and crude sensationalism. Judi Dench wants a disclaimer at the start of the programme saying it's a fictionalised drama, so viewers are very clear that this isn't any form of truth and isn't based on true history. Max Foster, CNN London.
There's been some tension between the US and Britain over the death of 19-year-old British motorcyclist who was hit by an American woman, the wife of a US diplomat. Anne Sakulis just pleaded guilty to careless driving in the death of Harry Dunn. You can see him here in these photos. Sakulis admitted she was driving on the wrong side of the road at the time of the deadly accident. It happened 3 years ago near a US military base where her husband worked. Just weeks after the accident, Sakulis was able to leave the UK because of the diplomatic immunity. And when British authorities tried to have her brought back to the UK to face charges, US authorities declined. Sakulis made a virtual appearance at a British court on Thursday. The judge will drop the more serious charge due to the plea. Sakulis potentially faces 5 years in jail, but she could be sentenced to just community service. She will be sentenced next month. A group of prominent Iranian sports figures are calling on FIFA to ban the Iranian Football Federation from competing in the 2022 Qatar World Cup. A law firm has sent a letter to FIFA on behalf of the sports stars. A press release issued alongside the letter demands unequivocal disassociation of Iran's brutality from the sporting world. Protests in Iran continue following the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini for allegedly not wearing her hijab properly. The World Cup takes place in a month's time, starting November 20th. That's it for World News this week. I'm Haley Galaskis. Now let's send it back to Maddie and Carson at the desk.
When we come back in entertainment, BTS is going on a 2-year hiatus.
We have more after the break.
Well, Carson, fall is certainly in full swing with the leaves turning and this harsh weather.
I agree, it definitely is here, but the weather wouldn't be as bad if it wasn't for that wind. It makes it a little bit unbearable.
Definitely agree with that. Now let's head over to Storm Johnson, who has this week's weather.
As we settle back into the Shippensburg weather following a great fall break, let's get right into this week's weather report. Today, we saw temperatures in the high 50s range with clear skies, and tomorrow you can expect much of the same as we see low 60s and clear skies just the same. Over the weekend, a slight increase into the mid to high 60s for a less chilly break from classes with the sun coming out Saturday, while Sunday the clouds roll back in. Early next week, we see temperatures plateau around 70 degrees into Thursday with the sun peeking out throughout the week, just enough to warm things up a bit. While Friday is not too far off from the rest of the week, we do see a small decline in temperatures. So for anyone tuning into SUTV News, if that doesn't remind you fall is here, the cold wind outside surely will. This has been Storm Johnson with your week's weather report, sending you over to Michael Donegan with this week's entertainment.
We start with breaking news tonight out of New York as a jury concluded that Kevin Spacey is not guilty of battery of fellow actor Anthony Rapp. Spacey was accused of molesting Rapp back in 1986 when Rapp was only 14 years old. Over the course of the 3-week-long trial, both Spacey and Rapp testified regarding the alleged assault. The judge had previously dismissed charges of assault and his claim of intentional infliction of emotional distress, leaving the jury to only decide on the battery charge. After a decades-long tenure as both Han Solo and Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford will be joining yet another blockbuster movie franchise. According to Deadline, the acclaimed actor is set to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Thunderbolt Ross. This character was previously played by William Hurt, but it seems that Marvel is looking to recast the role after Hurt's death earlier this year. Ford's first MCU appearance will be in Captain America: New World Order, starring alongside Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, who took the Captain America mantle in the Disney Plus series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The new film is currently set for release in May 2024. Ye has once again found himself in some hot water. The family of George Floyd says that they plan to sue the rap artist, formerly known as Kanye West, for $250 million. This is because Ye claimed in a recent appearance on the podcast Drink Champs that Floyd died from fentanyl poisoning. Floyd's death was actually ruled as a homicide caused by former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. The mother of Floyd's daughter, Roxy Washington, is leading the lawsuit. Many believe that the case does have precedent as well, given the recent verdict involving InfoWars host Alex Jones. Jones has been ordered to pay $965 million to the families of the victims of the Sandy Hook school shooting, after he claimed that the whole shooting was a hoax. He has yet to make a statement regarding the lawsuit, and the producers of Drink Champs have since pulled the episode in which he appeared. Important news for fans of the K-pop band BTS. The band will be taking a break from performing for the foreseeable future. Here with the details is SUTV's Austin Briner.
One of South Korea's most prominent attractions in the K-pop boy band BTS will be taking a long hiatus from the music industry. In June, the band previously announced that they would be taking a break from their group musical activities to pursue solo projects. The popular band has won many music awards, such as having 6 RIAA certified platinum singles, and won the Group of the Year award in 2022 for the 4th straight year at the VMAs. The band's music label, Big Hit Music, announced the news Monday that all 7 members of the group will be enlisting in the military to meet the required 18-month service for men in South Korea. According to the country's defense minister, the band still has the possibility of performing overseas while serving in the military. The band is expected to come back together as a group in 2025. For SUTV News, I'm Austin Briner.
There's no need to flip through channels if you're looking for the Peanuts gang this Halloween, as the beloved classic, It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, will air exclusively on Apple TV. The streaming platform retained exclusive rights to the Charlie Brown specials for 2022 after previously partnering with television network PBS. However, there's no need to panic, as Apple TV will allow non-subscribers to stream the iconic film for 3 days, while subscribers will have access to the Halloween special year-round. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown will be free for non-subscribers on October 28th to the 31st. That's it for the entertainment for this week. I'm Michael Donegan. Now back to Maddie and Carson at the desk.
When we come back in sports, field hockey takes on the #1 team in the country.
We have more after this.
Homecoming festivities wrapped up this weekend from Seth Gross Stadium with football. SUTV's Jacob Hitz has the highlights.
A very happy homecoming crowd set to watch Kutztown and Shippensburg go at it. Opening drive for the Golden Bears, and Donnie Blaine finds a wide open Jerome Cap ahead of everybody. Kutztown strikes first at 7-0. After a little back and forth between punts and turnovers, Shippensburg finds themselves at midfield. Dorsey a flea flicker, and Johnson finds Ian Sheehan over the top. Raiders tie the game, and it's 7-7. Field goals. Lots and lots of field goals. 4 of them in the second quarter, 3 from Kutztown. It's 16-10 at the break. Kutztown kicks 2 more field goals in the third quarter, and then an 8-minute drive in the fourth, capitalized by a 1-yard rushing touchdown by Darrell Davis McNeil. Ship's next drive, first play, Johnson throws near side, throws his second interception of the day, ending homecoming in a 29-10 defeat for the Raiders. For SUTV Sports, I'm Jacob Hitz.
Football Travers Millersville this Saturday. Kickoff is 2 o'clock. On Wednesday night, men's soccer traveled to Westchester to take on the Golden Rams. We'll pick up action in the 12th minute. No score. Phil Udo Inyang finishes on a pass from the corner to give the Golden Rams a 1-0 lead. About a minute later, the Golden Rams strike again. This time, it's Frankie Taylor, who fired a rocket of a shot to give the Golden Rams a 2-0 advantage. 20th minute now, Andrew Markopoulos finishes the cross, and the Golden Rams extend their lead to 3-0. In the 41st minute, Craig Potts taps in the rebound, and the lead extends further to 4-0. Second half, the Golden Rams scored again. This time, it was Shane Hartley who tapped in the rebound, and the Golden Rams extend their lead to 5-0. In the 68th minute, the Raiders finally strike when Seth Crabb tips in the goal, and the Raiders get on the board to make the score 5-1. The Raiders ultimately lost this one 5-1. The Raiders return to Robb Sports Complex on Saturday for Senior Day against Lock Haven at 2 o'clock. Women's soccer traveled to East Stroudsburg last night, a rematch of a game Ship won 1-0 back in September. At the 30-minute mark, Caitlin Norwood rips this one from the corner, trying to center it, and gets over the head of Morgan Molyneux and in. ESPN top 10 play right there. Warriors up 1-0. Then second half, just over 30 minutes to go, a pass out in front for Natalie Schooley, who just gets this one over Molyneux and into the back of the net. Warriors with the dagger. They win 2-0. Ship hosts Lock Haven on Senior Day this Saturday at 4:30. Tennis hosted Cal U yesterday in the last match of the fall season. Kendall Winders and Sahar Islam won their doubles match, but that was the only point the Raiders could pick up. Kaylin Hampt also scored a singles win. Raiders have a long wait now until their next match, a tournament in early March, kicks off their spring season. Field hockey traveled to Westchester Wednesday in a big-time matchup. SUTV's very own Jacob Hitz has the highlights.
A clash of the Titans in Westchester, #2 Shippensburg against #1 Westchester. Raiders have won 4 in a row against the Golden Rams, all 4 last year, including in the PSAC tournament and the national title game. We start midway through the second. Valu Paul finds some room in the circle, spins it around, just takes a shot, and it's deflected off of a goose, Garibaldi, and in. Raiders break the ice. 9th goal for Garibaldi on the season. What a year for the freshman. 1-0 Shippensburg. Third quarter now, Westchester trying to ram their way through. Sent down in front right here into the circle, and Lindsay Trapoto can't stop Paige Wolf. We are tied at 1. This tie takes us all the way down to the final 2 minutes of regulation. Valu Paul in the circle, spins it around. Somebody wide open, it's Maya Kemp. Turns around, and with a minute to go, the Raiders have the lead. It's 2-1. Raiders defense holds on in the final minute, winning their 5th straight game against Westchester, the longest streak in the rivalry, defeating the #1 team in the country. For SUTV Sports, I'm Jacob Hitz.
Raiders travel to Frostburg State for some primetime field hockey action, a 7:30 start on Saturday. Finally tonight, our player of the week, and with no show last week, we have some catching up to do. In Ship's 6-0 romp over Slippery Rock, Lily Cantabine scored her first career goal. But that wasn't enough. She scored 2 more and picked up her first career hat trick in the same game. Then last week against Mansfield, in a rebound game, Cantabine scored 1 more and assisted another one, giving her 4 goals in just 2 games and helping keep Shippensburg the #2 team in the country. Lily Cantabine, our player of the week. That's it for sports this week. I'm JD DeRazio. Now back to Maddie and Carson at the desk.
When we come back, we're announcing a photo contest that you, our viewers, can play a part in.
Stay tuned. Want to have your pet featured on SUTV News? Starting tomorrow, SUTV will be running a contest for the best pet Halloween costume. The anchors will then decide the top 5 best costumes during next week's broadcast, and then it will be up to you, the viewers, to decide on the best one. You can submit your photos by posting them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, along with the hashtag SUTVPet22.
How about you, Maddie? Do you have any pets at home?
I do. I have a dog named Susie.
What are you planning to dress her up as?
Probably a pumpkin. How about you, Carson?
I have 4 cats at home, but they're not a very big fan of being dressed up.
Don't worry. Susie will win for the both of us.
I'm sure she will. That's it for SUTV News. I'm Carson Devitt.
And I'm Maddie Shively. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SUTV News. And check out our website, sutvnews.org.
We'll see you next week. Good night.